My name is Yeling Tan, and I'm delighted to join the Blavatnik School as a professor of public policy. So my research really focuses on the politics of the global economy and how globalization affects the domestic institutions and domestic policy making of various countries, and also on the flip side, how then these domestic policies and domestic politics influence and reshape the global economic system. I apply many of these research questions to the Asian region, and in particular to the case of China. So my earlier work focused on China and the World Trade Organization, examining how the rules of the international trading system reshaped and altered economic institutions and economic decision-making within China. So building on that earlier research, my current work looks at the tensions that have emerged between the United States and China on the international scene, and how these international tensions are then affecting domestic institutions and domestic policy making within China's vast party-state apparatus. So how is the securitization of the international economy affecting and reshaping domestic institutions in China? Related to that, I am also interested in how the securitization is feeding down to the local level within China. So how are the hundreds of cities within China, many of which are very diverse in terms of their industrial base and very different in terms of their relative comparative advantage, how are these very, very variegated cities within China responding to an international economic environment that's more insecure and more unpredictable? And the third strand of my research looks into economic ideas. How are these international tensions reshaping economic ideas and economic debates within China? So how is this very important concept now of self-reliance? How is it being understood and reshaped in China as a result of international tensions? How do international schools of thought, not just in the West, but in other places as well, feed into the economic governance discourse within the Chinese system? So obviously China, as I've talked about so far, is a hugely important topic and very high on the agenda of the governments, of many governments around the world. And in that regard, I feel really lucky to be at a school of government that is so international and so diverse in its student body. I am really looking forward to engaging with the students, many of whom either come from government or will go into or rejoin government upon graduation. And I'm confident that ultimately it's going to be me that's going to be learning a lot from them in terms of different ways of thinking about China and the world economy.